Welcome back to Centered Gaming. I'm Brent, showing you how you can get the most out of your gaming equipment so that you too can have a centered gaming experience. All right, so in my previous video, I showed you a way that you can play PlayStation 3 3D games on your PSVR. But even before I figured out this little trick, I was inspired by another video, which I've mentioned before in one of my vlogs. And when I first saw this, I was a little thrown off by some of what he did, and I didn't quite get it. So I decided to come up with my own method. I've watched the video a few more times, and I'm like, okay. I can actually give you a real quick, simple explanation of what to do. I'm going to give the link for his video in the description because this guy deserves major credit for figuring this out and figuring it out a year or so before I did. Now, in my method on my previous video, basically, I fool the PlayStation 3 into thinking that it's still connected to a 3D device. On his video, he fools the PSVR into thinking that it's playing a Blu-ray on the PS4, a 3D Blu-ray. So I'm just going to summarize his technique because you see, partway through, he does talk about how to go into the debug settings and force 3D output on the PlayStation 3. And this is where I kind of got thrown because we're going into like hacking stuff here where you actually jailbreak your PS3 system. He even said it's not necessarily something you have to do in order to do it. Let me just briefly summarize his technique. You start a Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray in your PlayStation 4 with it connected normally. You pause it. Then you start up your PlayStation 3 with a 3D compatible video game in it. And you can just simply take the HDMI out of your PS4 and plug it into your PS3. There, that summarizes it again. PlayStation 4 playing 3D Blu-ray, pause it, keep the USB connected to the PS4, then you simply take out the HDMI, plug it into your PlayStation 3. Now the PSVR is thinking that it's still playing a 3D Blu-ray, and it's actually going to be playing a 3D game on the PlayStation 3. The advantage of his system is that you don't need a 3D television, you don't need a head-mounted display, you don't need that 3D video wizard or any other kind of thing to fool your PlayStation 3, but you do need a PS4. So the advantage to my method is that you don't need a PS4 because let's say you have a PS5, okay? PS5 does not play 3D Blu-rays, unfortunately. So compare the two methods. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask him. I wanted to give some credit where credit is due and show you that there is another method.